visible for a year and a half. By then, your home may be harboring 1 million termites, costing you thousands of dollars in repairs. Here with more on what to look for and how to stop them is Raleigh Jenkins from ABC Pest Pool and Lawn Services. Hello there, Raleigh. All right, we're going to explain why you brought the bike in just a few minutes.
Okay,
but,
I'll set that over here then.
Set it on over there. You didn't ride all the way to the station on that, did you?
Sure, no, I didn't.
Yeah. All right. Houston, by nature of what our weather is like, we don't have necessarily harsh winters, so termites love it down here.
It's a perfect environment for termites. I mean, our eco environment is set up just right with the amount of trees and shrubs that we have out there, and the temperatures and the humidity. It's just great for a termite.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing, too, is recognizing what a termite is. We might not necessarily see them. They do a lot of damage before we even know that damage is happening. We'll take a look at what some of that damage looks like in a minute. But first, let's look at a termite. Do you have some with you?
I've got a few right here that went digging around the backyard last night, trying to bring them in. Found a dead tree out there, and just a few shots of a couple of them. Oh,
yeah,
I know we have
too
them
small
here.
to see.
They never cooperate when you want them to.
Yeah, they're a little camera shy. But yeah, I see one right there.
Okay.
Oh, wait, okay, that's something else.
No, you'll see them moving.
Oh, that's something else. All right, but a lot of times people confuse them with an ant with wings, for example.
Right.
But what do they generally look like and how they look different?
Well, they look a lot like an ant. I mean, to the naked eye, when you just give it a quick glance, but what you want to look at is look at the antennas. I mean, if they have elbowed antennas, that's probably an ant. If they have a pinched waist, that's probably an ant.
Yeah.
If they have two wings that are not the same length, that's probably an ant. And they're swarming right now, so we're coming into swarm season.
Okay, so when they get behind those walls, again, the reason why it's so important to have it checked, not when you think you might see something, but to have it checked anyway, is because they're working inside, and this is the kind of damage we're talking about.
Well, the termites need 1/64 of an inch inner structure, and they'll work behind that wall, eating on that wood. And the problem is, you won't see them until they've done enough damage to look at it, and all of a sudden you pull back that sheetrock, you look at it, and you've got all this damage. I mean, just this alone, you still have the nails in it. That could be holding up sheetrock or any other wood in the house.
Okay, and when they do that damage, this stuff becomes really weak.
Yeah, but it does. It becomes very weak and just peels right off. And the problem is, it shifts a little bit. And the issue really is, it's the reconstruction, the building it back again. That's what costs a lot of money.
Yeah,
it's
that's
not
the framing of your
treatment.
house. You're ripping off sheetrock and everything, going behind brick and wood. All right, how do you check for them?
Well, there are a lot of ways to do it. One is, I tell you, go grab your flashlight. I mean, walk around the outside perimeter of the house. The best thing is look at the foundation. You want to look at the bottom, from the top of the foundation down. You want about a 4 to 6 inch clearance, and you're looking for any mud tubing coming up along that foundation. And once you poke that off,
you said mud tubing, so basically it looks like they've built a little mud tunnel.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you knock it off, and you'll see these little white wormy looking insects behind there, and all of a sudden you're going, great. Now you want somebody to come out and definitely identify what you've got.
Okay. What's this right here? Is that kind of tunneling that they do?
These are cartons from Formosan termites, which are very common around here. It's a different type of subterranean termite, but they'll get up in that wall void, and where the other subterranean termites will live in the ground, these guys live in the wall voids, and they actually do a lot more damage, a lot quicker than the normal indigenous termites that we have around here.
Okay, so the treatment that you would do is what, and how long does that last?
Well, chemicals are biodegradable, so we apply chemicals. We put them in the areas that we know they're coming in. That chemical will work in that it transfers the product from one termite to the next. Once they travel through it, they transfer from one termite to the next, and will knock out part of that colony. And what you really want to do is be very dependent upon is inspections to make sure they don't come back. I mean, monitoring devices on the outside of the house, to somebody looking at the foundation, even looking at the fence. Because if they're feeding on the fence, that means on the house, they're probably feeding somewhere in or around that house too.
Right, okay, and then what, once a year, once every couple of years?
I really recommend every 60 days, every 90 days.
Really?
That somebody's
That's
just
true, because they can just move on in whenever, yeah.
You build it into your pest control service so that when you're getting your normal pest control done, that guy should be trained and educated in looking for termites and knowing that damage.
Okay, now on to why you came riding in on a bicycle.
The bike trip. Well, my brothers and I have kind of made a challenge. We're taking a bike trip from Austin, Texas, all the way to Calgary, Canada.
Wow, that's a long trip, but there's a big reason and good motivation behind that.
Yes, we're doing this as a fundraiser for the Kidney Foundation. And so happens it's kind of close to home for me. I donated a kidney back 12 years ago to my dad. And so when we were looking at what our cause was going to be, it really was trying to give back to make the awareness of kidney donations and that happening raise that awareness as much as possible and fundraising.
Yeah,
for
I
the kidney
oftentimes
foundation.
say, you know, if you live long enough, you don't choose your mission chooses you. And this is something that you have great
I was
passion
chosen,
for because
yes.
it was in your family. Also in the audience with us today is Myra Riga. She's with the National Kidney Foundation. Hi, Myra.
Hi, Deborah. How are you?
And just wanted to make the point of how critical it is. And you have what, about 78,000 people right now waiting.
True. And, you know, every year about 80,000 people die from kidney disease. It's the 4th largest cause of death in the United States today.
Yeah, so what you all do as a foundation is, one thing is educate people about how to stay healthy, and you know, sometimes there are things that we do to damage our kidneys, and other times it just, we can't explain why somebody's kidneys are damaged, so how to educate us to stay as healthy as possible. But the other thing is kidney donation. It's one thing that we have 2 of, so you can actually donate one like Raleigh did.
Right.
And so what do you have to say to people at home to get them to actually consider getting tested to do that? Because anytime we're losing a body part, you know, it's hard for a lot of people to do. But
That's true, and I'm a kidney transplant patient. I'm a recipient from 5 years ago.
Perfect example right now.
Right, from my sister donated her kidney to me, and people are on dialysis, and it's very difficult for them to be on dialysis, and for people waiting for a kidney, it's taken longer, and you know, they really need to have more donors out there, and the transplant patients are doubling.
Yeah.
As the ages are getting older these days, you know, we need more donors out there. It's very important.
But you might not be here had it not been for your sister.
You're absolutely right. And when I was asked why I wanted a transplant, you know, my answer was so I can work, you know.
Yeah, so I can work and live
but
too.
yes, and to live, but it is extremely important. I could possibly not be here today.
Well, thank you very much, and
Thank
Raleigh,
you.
thank you
Thank
for
you
bringing
very
that to
much.
our attention and saving us from all these termites. For more information on ABC Pest Pool and Lawn Services, give them a call at 713-730-9500 or log on to goanteater.com, goanteater.com. And to find out how you can join their cause, you can log on to firstgiving.com/Raleigh Jenkins. Up next, Hurricane Ike devastated our area nearly 5 months ago. Many people have gone on with their lives, but hundreds are still in need. We'll tell you how you can help them out.